So hi everyone, how are you doing? It's Kent, by the way. And so right after high school, as I think you all might know, we don't exactly know what we're doing. So I, with no money, decided to move out of my parents' house into a crack den with two people I didn't really know from high school at all. One, her name was Jackie, and this other random girl named, what was her name? Kelly, we'll call her. I don't even remember her at this point. So I ended up, you know, looking in the paper for random jobs, city paper, because that's where we all go, and I realized I could either become a mailman at 18, or I could answer this random ad for actors and actresses. So I was like, oh, I went to art school, you know, why not? Like, this will be right up my alley, this will be good. So I responded to the ad, call up, and they're like, oh, well, we're actually a phone sex agency. And I'm about to put their business out. They're right above Jones, 7th and Chestnut. So, so I was like, yeah, I could do that. I'm a Christian little schoolboy. That fits right up my alley. Like, yeah. So I responded. They're like, oh, come on in. So I come on into this interview, and it's all girls working there. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. I'm like, I was hoping for a gay sex line, in all honesty, but, you know, that's just my own personal. So they're like, well, you know, you can have an interview if you can throw your voice to sound like a girl. We all have talents, I think, that we don't discover until later in life. So I went home that night because I had just, you know, sold the last, like, bonds from my grandmother, you know, to pay rent. And I was like, I'm going to practice. So I practiced in my room. I practiced hard to sound like a girl. And I went back in a week later, had an interview, and I sounded enough like a girl that they hired me. So and at this point, not wanting to put my own business out there, but I was still a virgin. So, like, you know, so I didn't really know. I knew the general mechanics of what went on. And, so we went through training. It's very extensive there if you all want to try. It is a 3-day training where you learn about everything, you know, like masochism, you know, domination, all that good stuff. I had 4 different characters. I was Mistress Jessie as a domination call. My transvestite was Penny, my transsexual was Aurora, and my hot girl name was Allie, who I played most of the time. So most of the time on most calls, I'm Allie from Chicago. For 3 years, right to the day almost, I did this. But back to my first week on the job. I'm on the phone, and you know, your phone starts ringing. That's what your job is. You know, you pick it up, and I'm you know, a little nervous at this point, and so I pick it up, and it's Bill apparently. And he seemed very nice, so I was like, okay. And, you know, they teach you that some of the guys that call aren't necessarily just out for sex, because, you know, there's some of us out there like that. And, especially paying $3.99 a minute almost. So, Bill actually happened to luckily be one of these guys, and he ended up becoming one of my request callers for the next 3 years. He would call me every week regularly. He was my first love, in all honesty. I really did. I miss him. If anyone knows where he is, like, seriously. But he didn't ever want to have sex, like actual simulated sex. His fantasy was very precise, which he explained to me on the phone the first time we ever, you know, consummated our relationship. And his fantasy was very precise. He explained it to me. And he was like, you know, what I want you to do is, like, I want you to be a damsel in distress. And I'm not making this up, guys. He wanted me to be drowning in quicksand somewhere. And what he would do is, like, I would be, oh my god, you know, the quicksand. And what he would always want to, he would always be the one to save me, and sometimes it would be a random branch that he would put in there. But, you know, what the great part that I really want to tell you all is that after it was over, and without being too graphic, he would be very, very happy when I did this, and I could tell by the noises coming from the other end of the line. He would always want me to yell 3 times, no matter what. This is at the end of the fantasy. Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah. And it would be over as fast as it would go. So yeah, phone sex operator, that's my story.